Introduction. When a relationship ends, it can leave behind a mix of emotions, especially if you feel unappreciated or taken for granted. If you want a woman to truly regret losing you, the most powerful move you can make isn't chasing her or trying to prove your worth. It's cutting her off completely. This isn't about playing games or being vengeful. It's about reclaiming your self-respect, setting boundaries, and showing that your value doesn't depend on anyone's approval. In this guide, we'll explore how walking away with strength and silence can speak volumes, and why it's often the only message she'll truly hear. 1. Emotional detachment is more powerful than chasing or begging. In relationships, whether romantic, platonic, or professional, emotional detachment often holds more power than chasing or begging for someone's attention or validation. Many people mistakenly believe that persistence, pleading, or proving their worth will make others stay or care more. However, true influence and respect are cultivated through self-control, emotional stability, and a healthy sense of boundaries. Emotional detachment is not about being cold or indifferent. It's about maintaining your peace, self-worth, and dignity regardless of how others behave. When you detach emotionally, you send a clear message. My value doesn't depend on your validation. This quiet confidence naturally draws people in. It allows you to respond rather than react, and to observe without internalizing rejection or chaos. Chasing someone or begging for their time, love, or approval often leads to imbalanced dynamics, where you give more than you receive. This creates emotional dependency and erodes your self-respect. On the other hand, detachment gives you clarity. It helps you see people and situations as they truly are, not through the lens of desire or desperation. You begin to recognize who is genuinely invested and who is only present when it's convenient. From this perspective, you can make better decisions about who deserves your energy. Ultimately, emotional detachment is a form of self-respect. It keeps you grounded in your own worth and prevents you from surrendering your power to the moods or actions of others. It's not about giving up, it's about rising above. When you stop chasing, the right things begin to align naturally. 2 inches. Cutting her off completely sends a clear message of self-respect. Sometimes the strongest move you can make in a relationship, or after it ends, is to walk away completely. When someone continually disrespects your boundaries, undervalues your time, or plays emotional games, continuing to engage only erodes your self-worth. Cutting her off completely isn't about revenge or coldness. It's a bold declaration of self-respect. It communicates that you refuse to be part of a dynamic where your energy is not reciprocated or appreciated. Many people fear that walking away makes them look weak or emotionally reactive. In reality, it takes incredible strength and clarity to remove yourself from a situation that once mattered deeply to you. By going no contact or setting firm emotional boundaries, you're saying, I know my value, and I will not tolerate being treated as less. That level of self-awareness commands respect from others, and more importantly, from yourself. This action also creates space for healing, reflection, and personal growth. When you stop wasting energy on someone who doesn't align with your standards, you open the door to people who will. Sometimes the only way for someone to recognize your worth is through your absence. Silence often speaks louder than 1,000 explanations. Ultimately, cutting her off is not about hate or bitterness. It's about choosing peace, dignity, and emotional freedom. It's the realization that you don't have to beg for love, loyalty, or respect. And when you walk away with your head held high, you're not losing something. You're gaining yourself. That's the real power of self-respect. 3. This approach isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your value. This approach isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming your value. Too often, when we're hurt, rejected, or overlooked, the initial impulse is to get back at the person who wronged us. But true empowerment doesn't come from retaliation. It comes from rediscovery. Choosing to reclaim your value means shifting the focus inward, not to prove your worth to someone else, but to remember it for yourself. It's a decision to stop investing energy in people or situations that diminish your light and to start redirecting that energy into your growth, healing, and purpose. When someone fails to see your worth, it doesn't mean it isn't there. Their inability to value you is not your burden to carry. It's a reflection of their own limitations. The moment you stop chasing validation and start nurturing your inner self, you create a foundation of unshakable self-respect. This isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about setting boundaries, protecting your peace, and knowing that your value doesn't decrease based on someone else's inability to recognize it. Reclaiming your value is a quiet revolution. It's found in the small decisions, saying no to things that drain you, walking away from unreciprocated effort, and choosing environments that celebrate your authenticity. You don't need revenge. You need clarity. You need to remember who you are before the pain distracted you. As you rebuild your self-worth, you become magnetic. Not because you're trying to be, but because nothing is more powerful than someone who knows their own value and refuses to settle for less. 4. Silence often speaks louder than words when it comes to regret. Silence often speaks louder than words when it comes to regret. While many emotions compel people to speak up, anger, joy, excitement, regret tends to draw us inward. It's a quiet ache, often carried in unsaid apologies, missed opportunities, and the conversations we never had. When someone regrets something deeply, they may not know how to express it or fear that words will only make things worse. Instead of speaking, they withdraw, replaying the past in their minds, hoping somehow their silence will be understood. This silence can be heavy. It can sit between people like an invisible wall, making reconciliation more difficult as time passes. Sometimes we mistake that silence for indifference, but more often, it's a sign of emotional weight. A person filled with regret may be silent because they don't feel they deserve forgiveness, or because they're waiting for the right words that never seem to come. That absence of communication can speak volumes, revealing guilt, sorrow, and vulnerability more effectively than any apology. Understanding this kind of silence requires emotional sensitivity. It's important to notice what's not being said. A prolonged pause, averted eyes, or a reluctance to engage can all be signs of unspoken remorse. In relationships, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, learning to read between the lines can help us connect on a deeper level. We don't always need a confession to sense regret. Sometimes the quiet speaks the truth. In those moments, offering compassion without demanding explanations can be the most healing response. Silence, though empty in sound, is often filled with meaning. 5 inches, walking away with strength, can make her realize what she lost. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in a relationship that's no longer serving you is to walk away, not with bitterness or anger, but with dignity and self-respect. When you choose to leave a situation that no longer aligns with your value, you send a strong message not just to the other person, but to yourself, that you know your worth. Walking away with strength isn't about trying to hurt her or seeking revenge. It's about reclaiming your peace and choosing growth over attachment. When someone realizes that you are willing to stay, love, and invest, but only on mutual terms, they may begin to reflect on what they had and what they lost. People often don't recognize value until it's no longer within reach. Your absence, especially when combined with grace and confidence, creates space for reflection. Silence speaks volumes when it's backed by self-respect. By walking away, you're not trying to prove anything to her. You're simply choosing not to chase someone who isn't choosing you. And in that decision, there's unmatched power. You shift the dynamic entirely, no longer seeking validation, but standing tall in your own light. In time, if she realizes your absence leaves a space nothing else fills, that realization is hers to carry. Whether she returns or not isn't the point. What matters is that you honored yourself, held your boundaries, and chose strength over settling. That alone is a victory.